Welcome back. Today, we are opening up a file that I think every single one of us needs, whether we realize it or not.
Hmm.
You know that feeling when you're just at war with yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Like you have this goal, you have this intention. Maybe it's to be calm with your kids or to focus on that big project or, just to stop eating junk food at 11 at night.
And you find yourself doing the exact opposite.
The exact opposite. It's the universal human condition, isn't it?
It is. The ancients actually had a word for it, akrasia.
Akrasia. Okay.
It means acting against your own better judgment.
Yeah.
And we all feel it. It's that friction where you know the right path, you can see it clearly, and yet your feet just seem to walk in the other direction.
It feels like there are two of me.
Yeah.
There's the good me who wants to wake up early and meditate and, drink green juice.
Right.
And then there's the real me who hits snooze and doom scrolls for 30 minutes and eats toast over the sink.
And the real me usually wins the fight.
Usually wins. And it's so frustrating because it feels like a character flaw. It feels like I'm just weak. But today, we're going to look at a text that says, you're not actually fighting a war. You aren't broken.
You're just managing a hierarchy badly.
I love that framing.
Yeah.
It's not a moral failure. It's an organizational one.
That's a perfect way to put it. We're diving into our second installment on these classic mosaic truths, pulling from a work from 1909.
1909.
Thomas Troward's The Edinburgh Lectures on Mental Science. And specifically, we're looking at his idea that the higher mode of intelligence controls the lower.
Now, before everyone's eyes glaze over at Lecture 1909, we really need to talk about who Thomas Troward was, because I expected some, mystic on a mountaintop.
Not at all.
But this guy was a judge, right?
He was a divisional judge in British-administered India. And that context is absolutely crucial.
Why is that so important?
Because he wasn't a guru. He wasn't selling some lifestyle brand. He was a man trained in the rigorous, logical weighing of evidence. He spent his days looking at facts, causes, effects, culpability.
So when he turned his mind to, the mind.
He didn't throw that logic away. He applied it. He wanted to find the laws of the mind, just like a physicist finds the laws of gravity.
So he's treating anxiety or habits or even success, not as luck or curses, but as a legal or scientific precedent.
Precisely. He's looking for the principles that govern the relationship between what we think and what happens in our lives. And his core thesis for today is that you're not one chaotic thing. You're a hierarchy.
And the problem isn't that you're broken.
The problem is that the lower part of that hierarchy is running the show when the higher part is supposed to be in charge.
It's like a company where the intern is accidentally making the CEO decisions.
It's a functional design issue. And we're going to connect this, turn-of-the-century philosophy with some very modern cognitive science.
Things like System 1 and System 2 thinking.
Exactly what Daniel Kahneman made famous. And even some ancient Stoic wisdom. Because it turns out the Stoics, the neuroscientists, and the judge all basically agree on the mechanism.
They really do. It's amazing how it all connects. And before we get into that hierarchy, I just want to say this right at the top.
Okay.
If this episode helps you, please hit like and subscribe for the next one. It really helps us get this information out to more people who are trying to figure this all out.
Absolutely. So let's unpack this hierarchy. Troward says the higher mode of intelligence controls the lower.
Okay, let's start with definitions. What does he mean by lower? Because to me that sounds, judgmental.
It does sound a bit derogatory, right? Like it means bad or evil.
Yeah, the devil on my shoulder or something.
And that's the first mistake we have to correct.
Yeah.
The lower isn't evil. It's just what he calls the subjective mind.
In modern terms, that would be.
The automatic system.
Yeah.
Your basal ganglia, your limbic system. It's the part of you that keeps your heart beating, digests your lunch.
And drives the car to work while I'm thinking about dinner.
Exactly. It's the autopilot. It's the background operating system.
So this is our first big idea then. Lower intelligence is automatic reaction.
That's it. And Troward points out something fascinating about this system. He says it operates on the law of averages.
The law of averages. What do you mean by that?
Well, think about nature. A plant, a bacteria. They follow a pattern. They react to stimuli in a very predictable way. Sun shines, the plant grows toward it.
Predator shows up, the herd runs away.
They're swept along by the general laws of their species. They don't make individual choices that contradict their programming.
Right, a sunflower never decides, you know what, today I'm going to face west just to shake things up.
Exactly. It follows the law of averages. It does what sunflowers do. And a huge part of our human brain is still running on that same level.
So when I get cranky because I'm tired, Or I get defensive when someone yells at me.
You're just being a statistic.
Oof. That hits home. I'm acting like the sunflower.
You're operating from the lower intelligence. And again, that's not bad. It keeps you alive. It kept our ancestors alive. If a tiger jumps out, you don't want to have a philosophical debate.
You want your legs to move. Instantly.
But the limitation is that it lacks the power of selection. It can't choose a new path. It can only repeat the old one.
Okay, so that's the lower. It's reactive, pattern, safe, but repetitive. So what is the higher?
The higher is what Troward calls the objective mind, or individual self-consciousness.
The prefrontal cortex, our executive function.
That's the one. And its unique power is a word we don't use enough. Volition.
Volition, the power of choice.
It's the ability to initiate a new sequence of causation that the automatic laws wouldn't produce on their own. The higher intelligence can look at a situation and say, I am hungry and I am irritated, but I choose to speak kindly.
It breaks the pattern.
It intervenes in the law of averages. It says, I am not just a member of the species right now. I am an individual intelligence.
And that's our next key insight. Higher intelligence is choice, not impulse.
Right. Troward uses this beautiful analogy to explain the relationship. He talks about a musician and their instrument.
I love this image. It makes the rules so clear.
Okay, so think of a grand piano. That piano is the lower intelligence.
It has incredible potential.
It can create Beethoven or ragtime or just noise, but on its own, just sits there. It has no will.
Right. The piano doesn't decide what song to play.
The musician is the higher intelligence. The musician provides the selection. The musician decides which keys to press, in what order. The piano doesn't object. It just responds.
Okay, but this is where we get into trouble, right? Because most of us feel like our piano is playing itself.
Or worse, that the piano is actively fighting us. And this brings us to the core problem. When we realize we have these bad habits, this lower behavior we don't like, what's our first instinct?
Fight it, suppress it, yell at the piano, stop playing that song.
Exactly. We try to use force. We say, I will stop being anxious. We white-knuckle it.
And Troward says that's a huge mistake.
He insists on light handling. It's such a critical phrase. He says if your grasp is too tight, it just shows you're afraid of the instrument.
And if a musician is terrified of the piano, the music they make is going to be
terrible, stiff, jarring, awkward.
So trying to force our habits into submission just makes things worse.
It creates resistance, which is our next big idea. Force creates resistance.
This connects to modern psychology, doesn't it?
Perfectly. Yeah. Are you familiar with ironic process theory?
Vaguely. Is that the white bear thing?
That's the one. It's a famous experiment from a psychologist named Daniel Wegner. He'd put people in a room and say, for the next 5 minutes, think about anything you want. But whatever you do, do not think of a white bear.
And I'm guessing the room was suddenly full of imaginary polar bears.
They couldn't stop thinking about it. They'd ring a bell every time the thought popped up, and the bells were just going off constantly.
So when I sit at my desk telling myself, don't be anxious, don't be anxious.
You're basically screaming white bear at your brain. By monitoring yourself to make sure you aren't doing the thing, you're keeping the concept of that thing front and center in your mind.
You're feeding the very beast you're trying to starve.
It's like trying to shovel darkness out of a room.
Yeah.
You can't do it. You have to turn on a light.
Which connects to the Stoics, too, the idea of assent.
Yes. So an impression hits your mind, say an angry thought, that guy cut me off in traffic.
Yeah.
That's the automatic lower intelligence reaction.
That's the piano making a noise because a brick fell on it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now, the Stoics say you can't control that initial flash, but you have the power of assent. You can look at that thought and either say, I agree with this, or
this is just an impression and I don't have to endorse it. The higher intelligence is the gatekeeper.
It's the quality control manager. The lower intelligence churns out suggestions all day. Eat the donut, yell at your boss, doom scroll.
And the higher intelligence is supposed to sit there and go, denied, denied, approved, denied.
But for most of us, that manager is asleep at the wheel. Or worse, running around screaming, stop making bad products, which just creates more chaos.
So Troward says the solution isn't force,
but direction. You don't beat the piano, you play it.
Okay, let's get practical. If I can't force myself to stop feeling things, how do I direct my mind? Let's start with attention.
Step 1 is selective attention. The principle here is simple but powerful. Attention steers the mind.
Where attention goes, energy flows.
Exactly. Troward says the higher intelligence steers by choosing where to look. It's like driving a car. You don't stare at the ditch on the side of the road.
You stare at the road.
You have to look where you want to go. So if you're giving a speech, instead of focusing on, I hope I don't mess up, your attention is on messing up.
And you steer right into it.
You have to focus on the purpose, the message, the value you're providing to the audience. You take the spotlight off yourself and put it on the service.
Okay, so we shift our gaze. Step 2 is assumption. Troward talks about an alter ego. What does he mean by that?
It's about seeing the situation, not as it is, but as it could be. It's about embodying the mental attitude of the person who can handle this.
This sounds a bit like fake it till you make it.
It's deeper than that. It's about interpretation. A psychologist named Richard Lazarus showed that our biological reaction to an event depends entirely on how we interpret it.
Can you give me an example?
Okay, your heart starts racing, your palms get sweaty. If you interpret that physical data as fear, your body releases cortisol. You shut down.
You're in danger.
But physically, that sensation is almost identical to excitement or readiness. The adrenaline is the same.
That's so true. A roller coaster feels physically the same as public speaking.
So the higher intelligence can step in and say, my heart is beating fast because I am ready. My body is mobilizing resources for me. You've just reframed a threat into a challenge.
And that's our next key idea. Reframe threats into challenges. You're giving the piano new sheet music.
Exactly. Which brings us to step 3, consistent action. Because we can't just sit around thinking happy thoughts.
Right. Eventually you have to move.
Troward is very firm on this. He says, we cannot think one way and act another.
I love that quote.
It's the ultimate truth test. So action must match thought. The lower intelligence, that subjective mind, is like an observant child. It watches what you do to figure out what's true.
So my actions have to prove the new thought.
The action impresses the thought onto your nervous system. You prove the new principle to your own biology through your behavior.
Let's ground this. Let's walk through those 3 practical examples. First step, work. Public speaking, a high-stakes meeting, the dread is real.
A classic. It triggers that primal fear of rejection from the tribe.
So the lower intelligence kicks in. Racing heart, sweaty palms, it's a threat response.
And that's the law of averages. Most humans fear that. Your lower mind is screaming, if I mess this up, the tribe will exile me and I'll die.
And the mistake we make is fighting it. Stop shaking. Pull it together.
Which is the white bear. You're focusing on the shaking, which makes you shake more.
So applying Troward's method, the higher...
First, attention. Move the focus from how do I look to what does this audience need from me? From self to service.
Okay. Then assumption.
Interpret the racing heart as fuel. This is energy. This is my body getting ready to perform.
And finally, action.
Stand tall, take a deep breath with a long exhale, and speak the first sentence with intention and volume, even if you don't feel it.
You act as if you're confident.
And the lower mind gets the signal. It feels the deep breath. It hears the strong voice, and it thinks, oh, wait, the captain is calm. We must be in command.
That's so good. Okay, example 2. Relationships. The defensive reaction, my personal nemesis.
A tough one. Your partner says, you left the dishes out again.
And boom, instant rage. Well, you left your shoes in the hall. It just bubbles up.
That's the lower intelligence. It's protecting the ego. That's the moment to identify the reaction.
So how does the higher mind step in before I start a fight I don't want to have?
It pauses. It uses the stoic discipline of assent. It strips the emotional coloring. Instead of hearing, they're calling me lazy, you strip it to the facts. A statement was made about dishes on the counter.
That's hard to do in the moment. It sounds so clinical.
It's objective. That's what the higher mind is. Objective. The lower mind is subjective and emotional.
And the action.
You respond with a question instead of a rebuttal. Help me understand, or you're right, I did. It completely changes the dynamic.
You go from a fight to a conversation.
You've moved from the law of averages to individual selection.
Okay, last one. Habits. Doom scrolling. The silent killer of productivity.
Yes. The trigger is usually boredom or mild discomfort. The lower mind says, soothe me, distract me.
And the hand just reaches for the phone. It's a zombie move.
That's the habit loop. So the higher alignment is to recognize the cue, I am bored. Don't fight the urge for relief, but swap the routine.
So instead of don't look at the phone, I do...
Something physical. 3 deep breaths. Check a list on a piece of paper. You're retraining the servant. You're giving it an apple instead of candy.
I want to try something with everyone listening right now. A guided exercise, just to make this real.
Let's do it. We'll call it the higher to lower alignment.
Okay, so wherever you are, just take a second to focus. Step 1, Identify one repeated reaction you want to outgrow. Just one.
Be specific. Snapping at a coworker. Procrastinating. See it clearly, without judgment. Just identify the reaction.
Okay, I got mine. Now step 2. Name the higher principle you want to lead with.
Is it patience? Is it focus? Courage? Kindness? You have to give your mind a clear target, so name the higher principle.
Okay, step 3. Choose one small behavior that proves the principle today.
The key word is small. Not, I'll never get angry again, but when I feel anger, I will take one sip of water before I speak.
One physical proof. And finally, step 4.
Replace one contradiction with one alignment. If your principle is focus, maybe you take the phone off your desk. Remove the thing that sabotages the new belief.
Identify, name, choose a behavior, remove a contradiction. That feels actually doable.
It's the architecture of building a new mental habit.
But, things go wrong. We try this, we fail. Let's talk about the common mistakes, the pitfalls.
Mistake 1 we've covered. Fighting the darkness. Obsessing over the bad habit.
The fix is to turn on the light. Redirect your attention to what you want.
Mistake 2. Inconsistency. Thinking confident thoughts while acting with timid body language.
Your body has to believe your brain.
The lower mind is not fooled by words. It follows action and feeling.
Mistake 3.
Impatience. Expecting the automatic mind to turn on a dime. It's like turning a huge ship. It takes time to impress a new pattern.
So consistency over intensity.
That's our final key idea. Consistency over intensity. Gentle, repeated course corrections are better than one frantic turn of the wheel.
Okay, mistake 4.
Demonizing the lower. Treating your habits or your anxiety as an enemy. This just creates internal conflict.
It's not an enemy, it's an untrained servant.
It's trying to help you, it's just using outdated software. And the final mistake, number 5.
Let me guess. Just thinking about it and doing nothing.
Passive wishing. Thinking that higher intelligence means just sitting and manifesting. Troward is clear. It requires individual selection followed by action. The musician has to actually play the keys.
This has been so practical. Let's do a quick recap. The 7 key takeaways.
Okay, let's do it. First, you are a hierarchy. The higher is meant to lead the lower.
Second, the lower is automatic and reactive. The higher is selective and creative.
Third, forcing or suppressing the lower only makes it rebel. Remember the white bear.
Fourth, you lead by directing attention, not by fighting impulses.
The fifth, your interpretation of events dictates your biological reaction.
Sixth, you must act in alignment with your new thought to make it stick.
And seventh, consistency in small things builds the new automatic pattern.
That's the toolkit. You have the hierarchy, the method, and the permission to stop fighting yourself.
It changes everything when you realize you're the musician, not the piano.
And next time, we're going even deeper. We're moving from individual control to something much bigger.
Yes. The next one is called the unity of the spirit. We're going to look at how the individual mind connects with, well, the universal source of energy.
If today was about tuning the instrument,
Next time is about tapping into the electricity that powers it.
you definitely do not want to miss that.
No, you don't.
Thanks for being here.
Hmm.
If you want the full series, check the playlist, and please like and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode.